You are the protector. You are it for yourself, for your family. And don't do it just because you want to understand how to deliver violence. Do it because you want to become a well-rounded human, a human weapon, an athlete, someone who has control of his emotions, who has confidence. Hey, what's up, friends? Welcome to another episode. Today on the vlog, we're going to be talking about combatives. What do you do if you have to get in a fight? Whether it's striking or whether it's grappling like Jiu Jitsu. And as you can see, we're at BK Strength, my gym, and we're on the mats. And the reason we're talking about this is because no one is coming to save you. You are your own bodyguard. You are your own defender. And in life, you're either going to be a liability or you're going to be an asset. I don't know about you, but I want to be an asset. I want to make sure I'm there to protect those that I love. I'm there to protect myself. And for that to happen, you can't just walk around with a gun or a knife everywhere. You have to have the abilities to be able to fight in terms of striking, like Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing itself, or grappling, whether it's wrestling, jiu-jitsu, judo, etc. And so today we got some thought-provoking topics that we're going to talk about after we get some rolls in, myself and Leighton. And I want to introduce you to someone that's been putting me through the paces on the mats as well. So you'll get to meet him and get his thoughts on this. And he's been a black belt for many, many years, he's been in jiu-jitsu for well over a decade, and he's a black belt and he's got a lot of experience. So without further ado, let's start the show. This is Leighton's third time on the mats. And while Leighton has been boxing since well before a teenager, right?
16, yeah, started 16.
Yeah. He does not have much experience on the mats, and myself and Andrew, my son, brought him on the mats, maybe about a month and a half ago, and this is his third session. And here with us is also someone very special and a dear friend of mine, Mr. Mike Velez. Mike, do you want to maybe tell our friends who you are?
So my name's Mike, and I got into Jiu-Jitsu in 2009, so about 15 years. I got my black belt in 2017. And from 2011 to 2018, I was the editor and publisher of Jiu Jitsu magazine. People unfortunately stopped buying magazines, so I've been a real estate broker since then, so here locally. But in my magazine experience, I've gotten to train with every big name Jiu Jitsu athlete in the last decade. So it was when I got the opportunity to coach BK, I thought this would be great, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
Yeah, and what started off for me as a 6-week challenge, a lot of you guys know that I do these 6-week challenges. Over a decade ago, the first 6-week challenge I did was the marathon challenge, where I trained for 6 weeks and ran the San Diego Marathon. Since then, I've done challenges like guitar lessons, salsa dancing, rock climbing, surfing, MMA, you name it, anything that's out of my comfort zone, even things like comedy and improv, which till this day, when people ask me, like, what was the most intense challenge you did? Improv, for sure. It is, you really have to break out of your comfort zone to be able to speak in different voices and sounds and stuff. And I was looking left and right at the people around me who are like trained comedians. I'm like, they are good. I'm like a baby compared to what they're doing. But that was an intense 6-week challenge. Speaking of the 6-week challenges, be sure to go to bedroskeuilian.com/live and take the first challenge that I ever did, which was a marathon challenge. Absolutely free. The entire training guide is absolutely free for you. The nutrition guide and 6 weeks of mindset and motivation. bedroskeuilian.com/challenge. I'm sure there's a marathon happening somewhere in your state. If not, you just drive around for 13.1 miles and you do that there and back. And there's your 26.2 miles for a marathon. And take that challenge and let me know how you do. But today, guys, we're on the mats because, in the Squire program especially, we talk about both at the Squire program and at the project, we talk about being a protector. It is our job as men to be protectors, to be capable and courageous when it's called for it. And when we were doing the shooting experience the other day and went out to the shooting range, we were talking about, like, when do you de-escalate versus when do you go and flip the switch and resort to violence. My personal opinion is that you de-escalate every single opportunity that you get. De-escalate and get away from the problem or the threat any opportunity you get. Mike, obviously, you've got years under your belt, both in time and in experience. The people that you've talked to, the people that you've rubbed shoulders with, and you've rubbed shoulders with some of the best in the world in combatives. What are some of the principles that you've learned or heard from them?
So I've never heard a experienced black belt say, oh, just start a fight.
Right.
That's never the case. It's always de-escalate, avoid the situation. You never know. It's one thing to be in a tournament with refs and rules, but outside of that environment, there are no rules, and who knows, might have a weapon, they might have a knife, they might have a friend that's coming around the corner, so you never know. I mean, there are situations, or I'm sure situations arise where you don't have an option, you can't escape. You're in a confined area, and at that point in time, you better hope that you have some instinct that's going to take over.
Right.
One of the things, this is going to sound strange because I'm really not this type of person, but I'll assess the situation and kind of look at who's in there. Like if it's not an area I'm familiar with, where's the exit? Where am I seated? Can I see who's coming in and out? If there's somebody in there that looks like they're not acting properly or they're acting kind of odd, like what would I do? And I'm not spending all day thinking about this, but it's kind of a quick observation that I'll put through my mind if, God forbid, the opportunity, or not opportunity, the chance should happen that I need to engage somebody.
I mean, you make a really good point. It takes but a minute to assess a situation and have situational awareness to be prepared. We can certainly go down the rabbit hole of being paranoid, and now I'm going to stockpile cans of beans and shit in my basement and, gas masks and all that stuff. But really, we want to be prepared so that if, God forbid, the scenario kicks off and we can't get away from it and we're called to fight, I don't want to just rely on what my instincts are going to do. Like you said, I want to rely on the instincts of training, of months and years of training, whether it's striking or grappling, to be able to count on in that moment of panic. So with that said, without further ado, let's hit the mats for a little bit, and then we'll come back with more insight in just a moment.
Leighton got you down on the floor. You don't want to stay here for very long. He's got these fists that are going to start coming in on you. So first thing you want to do is you want to use the advantage of your legs to pull him into you and break his posture.
Okay. All right.
Yep. So what you have right now is called a clinch, but he's got this exposed side. He can be throwing punches on your side. So you want to bring him as tight as you can, and you want to try to use your elbows to either protect from those blows or to tie up that arm that's throwing punches.
Yep.
So again, you don't want to stay here for too long. I want you to have a stronger kind of overhook on this arm, okay?
Yep.
So you're going to open your guard, and you're going to you're going to pivot your hips. I want this hip to come up a little bit. Bring this leg down, right? So, and now pivot your hips to there you go. You're gonna sweep him that way. Right?
Got it.
So I want that leg
Yep.
to block his leg so
Yep.
that he can't stretch out. And I want you to push off on this side. I want this right here. I want you to push off and roll him that way. No. That'll work, but use your post to initiate.
Got it.
Yeah, because you kind of like threw. I didn't really see you. I want to see you push off.
Push off.
Let me do it to Leighton real quick, so you can see. So here, I want to pull him in tight, right? And I want to see his arm, if I can. See on this side how I'm pulling his arm in.
Yes.
So he can still throw a punch, but I want to kind of minimize his distance.
Yeah.
Right. So here, and I've got this underhook. Let's see. Bring your arm up this way, underneath me. Yeah, there you go. So yeah. So here's where we're at. I want to kind of protect him, or at least minimize how much distance he can get on retracting for that. And then I want to see him. See this?
I see. Yeah.
So I'm getting this here,
Yeah.
right? And I'm ready to post. And then this is going to chop. And now I'm here. I can stay tight. I can get these arms out of the way,
Yep.
right? And now I can either pay him back or I can split.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, let's try that.
So first thing you want to do is you want to minimize that distance. Because right now he's on top. There you go. I want your head close so that he can't headbutt you.
Yep.
And on this, I want you to try to, like, see how you've got some control on that
Yeah.
shoulder,
Yep.
so he can't lift that arm, or if he does, he can't get a bunch of damage. And on this, ideally, Leighton, I want you to, So now you're gonna open up your guard, you're gonna switch your hips, and you're gonna get ready to bring that right leg down to the mat and kind of like sweep his leg as you're pushing off on your left leg.
Got it. And so from there, I mean,
You could go to that, or you could use your left leg on his other leg, on his arm.
oh, I see.
Yeah, to kind of like, again, you don't want him to strike.
Right.
Or if he has a weapon that you don't know of,
I don't want him
you
to.
don't want his hands to be available to him.
Yep. That makes total sense. So once I've gotten the sweep, I want to take away his weapons. In this case, if he's got no weapons, it's just his arms.
His hands are always a
Yeah.
weapon, right?
Yeah. And then if he does have weapons and I don't know it, well, I want to keep his arms locked up so that he can't access his weapons while I'm in a position of either choking him or taking off.
Yeah.
Great. Want to try that? Let's do it.
Another thing I just thought of, from the guard too, we're going to show a back take.
Right.
Because most like street fights, I shouldn't say most, anecdotally speaking, I've heard that a lot of street fights end up with somebody getting on the back and choking them out, just like you did on the airplane.
Yep.
So we'll do a simple like back take from that guard position, and how to finish it and to, put somebody out if you have to.
Beautiful.
So in this one, you're going to be going this way because that's the arm you're trapping.
So
So you're going to open up your legs, your right leg. I want you to kind of switch your hip. I want this hip to come up a little bit. Yeah. See that little angle?
Yeah.
That's going to help you a lot. Now, when you get ready to take him that way, this leg is going to straighten out and kind of like sweep this leg out from under this table of him.
got it. At the same time.
At the same time, you're going to use your hips and you're going to thrust to your left.
Got it.
And you're going to maintain that trap of that arm. And then here again, those hands are dangerous, so keep him from being able to use them or reach for something.
Okay. There's also, anecdotally speaking, a lot of fights end up where someone could end up on someone's back and choking them out, right? And so to go from that position where you find yourself on the bottom in guard position to take someone's back, what's the best way to go about that?
So if we're starting from that same guard position, controlling those arms and getting them to rotate on top of you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
Take us through it?
yeah, sure, let's do it. So here, same situation. I want to use my legs if at all possible, otherwise I'm getting mounted. So that's not good. Now this one, again, if you're throwing punches, I have to work quick and I have to minimize damage by controlling these hands.
Right.
So immediately, if let's say you're going to throw something, so I want to capture and I want to drag it across, right?
Yep.
So I bring you over here, and now I'm gonna reach for your lat. Luckily, you've got big lats, and I can grab onto them. I want to pull you this way, and I want to immediately go across with this arm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now in jiu-jitsu or in grappling, this is considered my strong side when it comes to a rear naked choke, and that's because it's here on the mat. Versus if it was this way, it's not as strong. My odds of getting the finish are not as great. So I want to get you in. I want to get your back. These are called hooks, where I have my legs to control your thighs. And ideally, I want to have your chin right at the bend of my elbow, right? You have these two arteries right here. Those are what I want to limit the blood flow to your brain to put you to sleep. So I want to get here. I want to bring this hand into my bicep. And lots of times you'll see people use an open hand to finish. Once I get my hand behind your head, I'm going to make a fist. And that minimizes your odds of being able to peel it off. So we're here. I'm going to get my hand here, and then I'm going to make a fist. And then I'm just going to tighten up my bicep, my forearm, and finish the choke.
Nice. So obviously, everything we're talking about here, we're not attorneys, guys, so we're not here to give you legal advice, but everything we're talking about here is last-ditch effort. You try to de-escalate. First of all, you try to see the situation and not even show up. But if you got into it, see if you can de-escalate using your words, calming the person down. But if you end up in that position, then the best thing to do, if they're mounting you, or not mounting you, but they've got you on your back, you've got them in your guard, is to attempt to get their back, because one, they're not gonna be able to punch backwards as well, and number two, one of the best ways to put them out of commission without bashing their face in, you're also doing them a favor by putting them to sleep.
Yeah, there was like a situation on a train in Spain, I think, where a Marine was out on leave and he got somebody, I can't remember the details, but yeah, I think it was a rear naked choke that he kind of like de-escalated things. Yeah, so it's a great alternative to, you know, throwing punches and, you know, possibly finding yourself in a legal hot, you know, mess down the road. But yeah, it's a common finish. You know, you'll see a lot of videos where street fights will end in that direction.
You're gonna have to walk me through that completely again. I was trying to follow along, but
No problem.
All right, so same thing where
The whole thing, if he throws that punch, you want to catch it and you want to pull it through.
Yeah,
You want to
depending on
help
what
him. Side. Yeah, depending on
Right.
what he gives you. So if he
have that
throws the
in your
right, he's going to go in that, you know, the opposite direction.
Got it.
All right, so in the scenario here where I'm throwing the left,
So at the same time, so back up real quick. When the arm comes across, you obviously you've got boxing experience, so I want you to kind of avoid that, of course, and pull it through, and at the same time use your legs to pull him into you.
Got
Okay,
it.
that's going to
Okay.
be really important.
Got it.
So now you grab here. Now you're going to loosen your legs up enough to get him to rotate. So you're going to pull like you're climbing up his back using that grip, and try to spin. Try to force him through. So this hand, I want you to grab there. Use a thumb up grip, yeah, and pull him as you're trying to rotate him. Right?
Yeah.
So now you're getting more squared up to his back.
Okay.
Now that arm, you're going to let go of that grip that you have, and you're going to dig it underneath his chin. Ideally, I want his chin to be right where the crook of your elbow is. Okay. So at this point, you're going to come up here. You're going to grab your bicep. You're going to bring your hand behind. You're going to keep going behind and make a fist with your hand. And the reason you're doing that, if Bedros is trying to peel your arm off, that if he's trying to reach up here to get this arm, that flat arm hand is going to make a bigger opportunity.
Got it.
Okay. So now you're just going to kind of tighten up your bicep, and you're going to squeeze. Just squeeze in. It doesn't take a lot. There you go. And then you got the choke.
that's great. And so in a scenario like that, again, when we talk about when we're on the mats, best case scenario is you flip them all the way around, you got your hooks in.
Yeah.
In a scenario like that, he doesn't have his hooks in, but if he's got the rear naked cinched up, have at it. Is that right?
Assuming the person that you're in the confrontation with doesn't have any training, that's fine.
Right.
Now, if they have training, it might be a completely different story. You know, if you're in Vegas, where half the population is an MMA fighter, might be a different story. But it doesn't mean you want to be sloppy, but in the moment, it's like an 80-20. As long as you have 80% of what you need, you're going to be able to finish it.
The idea here is this, that you're a formidable fighter in boxing. Like you can hold your own standing up, but as some fights do, they end up on the ground. And when they do, it's a different ball game. And I think for me, I was comfortable learning striking boxing too, because part of it is like, man, I don't want to be all tangled up with another guy, and this is going to feel weird and awkward and all those things. But like truly in the moment, like you don't care. I don't care if I'm head to head or ear to ear with another dude, because like you're thinking about survival and getting submissions and positions. But really, the biggest thing we want to share with you guys here is that you are the protector. The police come afterwards to fill out a report, an incident report. You are it for yourself, for your family, and don't do it just because you want to understand how to deliver violence. Do it because you want to become a well-rounded human, a human weapon, an athlete, someone who has control of his emotions, who has confidence. Like I said, when I got on the mats, I thought all the gym work I did was pretty impressive. I got on the mats, within 30 seconds, I was gassing out, and it took weeks to start building up my endurance, and I ended up getting even leaner, losing pounds, because this is just a different form of cardio that not only gets you prepared for when the fight goes to the ground, but also helps you in terms of longevity in life. Are there chances of risks of injuries? Yes, with everything you do, but I'll take the risk and the potential for injury on the mat or in the ring or in the gym versus being a couch potato and ultimately having heart disease, diabetes, a stroke. Like, I can recover from a hyperextended elbow or knee. Recovering from a heart attack, a stroke, diabetes, that's a harder form of recovery. So use this as a way of fitness as well. Mike, in terms of roles and responsibilities, you've got a young man. He's 20 years old, Marcus. I've met him, a wrestler, jiu-jitsuer. What have you seen in him in the time that he's gone through this discipline?
So for him, it was wrestling. Huge difference. He was always pudgy kid, probably not the best, guilty parent of just giving him fast food to, keep him quiet and keep him happy. And when he got into high school, I don't want to say I forced him, but he wanted to do a wrestling camp. And first day, he'll be mad at me for saying this, but he was crying. He didn't want to do it. I said, you signed up. You're going to stick through it, and you're going to do the whole thing. And if you never want to wrestle, that's fine, but you're not going to quit. And a couple weeks into it, still crying, but it was getting through to him. He joined the wrestling team at Ayala freshman year, and most disciplined person in our house, like cutting weight for tournaments, even after 4 years of wrestling. I remember one day he said, you know what I missed the most about wrestling was the shared misery that we all had in the wrestling room. And he's like, I'm gonna get into jiu-jitsu. And I had tried to get him into jiu-jitsu a few times as a kid, and it never stuck. And now he goes to class more than I do. He's there 3-4 times a week. His diet is on point. He's doing everything he should be. And so I'm really proud of him. And wrestling is just a grappling art, but it's a martial art. And I'm really proud of what it's done for him. And it's great for everybody. So.
Leighton, what about you? Obviously, with the experience that you've had in boxing and you're well versed on it, I know it's only been 3 sessions now, but as you get on the mats, like, what do you start thinking and feeling in terms of confidence on the mats versus that in the ring, in the boxing ring?
I think even with just my 3 sessions, I'm as white belt as it comes, still virgin neck and the whole thing. But I think even just having a couple sessions and just knowing something, not a lot against you guys, of course, but against an average person who doesn't train at all, it gives me a lot of confidence. Same thing, similar when I started boxing too when I was 16. I had already had confidence or false confidence from winning that fight and getting expelled, but it's a lot different than training for something in a professional setting by a coach who is trained and professional himself. That's a different set of confidence. And so same thing with this, even as as new and as green as I am, it feels nice and gives me a little bit of confidence just knowing, okay, the average person, I get them on the ground, I can try something. I'm not just sitting there, no one's going to sit there, but there's no technique if I don't do these 3 sessions. Now with this, at least I can kind of maybe I can breathe a little bit better because I've been here before, versus maybe a month ago, I get on the ground, I'm like, damn, I don't know anything. I've never even watched somebody roll before or whatever the case is. So that little bit of knowledge can take you a long way. And I'm excited about it. I like it. You guys dragged me into it. I was kind of postponing it, and I was like, I'll do it one day, pushing it back. And then one day they cornered me, like, oh, let's get a workout. I said, yeah, let's get a workout. And about an hour before I pulled up, Andrew texts me, he goes, you want to roll afterwards? I'm like, damn, I already committed to the workout. I can't say no. So I'm like, yeah, for sure, I'm down. I tried out, and it was a good time. It was fun. So, yeah, I think also earlier today we were talking about Squire. and how we tell these guys to learn new skills, and obviously combatives and being able to protect yourself and your family is important. But I also think it's a note on one of the episodes you just shared a couple weeks ago where you said, say yes to the adventure. I think this is another part. I wasn't super excited to do it. I knew I wanted to do it one day, but I was procrastinating.
Yeah.
But you guys kind of cornered me, and I said yes to the adventure, and now I'm having fun, and I want to keep doing it. So that wouldn't have happened if I didn't just take that first step, like you said earlier.
There's a lot to that, saying yes to the adventure, man. If I can go back to my teenage years, I would have said yes to more adventures. And year after year with Andrew and Chloe, when I write them birthday cards or when I text them, I'm always reminding them, like, guys, say yes to the adventure. Like, who knows? Who knows where that adventure takes you? At 49 years old, I discovered no-gi Jiu Jitsu. This is now 2024. In 2019, I did a 6-week challenge that was with the gi. I enjoyed it, but kind of like the marathon, it didn't stick. Not like I would go run another marathon. And with the gi, I was just like, not for me. But in 2024, I did this no-gi challenge, and it stuck. I love it. I love the challenge. I love the problem solving of it. I love the athletics of it. I love the cardiovascular training of it, and I love the combatives of it. And I am as new as they come. I'm now 6 months in to a 6-week challenge that we started because it stuck. So guys, say yes to the adventure. It's such an awesome journey, life, when you have this life resume, like my friend Jesse Itzler says. He says, at the end of the day, you've got this work experience. Well, I can do Excel and Microsoft Office and I can lead a company, etc. Well, that's all cool. You got your paper resume built out, but what about your life resume, right? And so say yes to more adventures, take on new challenges, explore, figure out what your body's capable of doing. Don't ever once think that, like I did back in the day, 12, 13 years ago, where God's designed me to lift weights, and so I'm not made to design. I kept telling myself that. Turns out I am designed to run. I am designed to grapple. I am designed to be acrobatic. I just have to train in it because not a lot of things are factory installed in me, very much like you. So with that said, I hope this kind of opens up your eyes to the beauty of combatives. It's camaraderie, it's a brotherhood, it's a friendship. I've met nothing but amazing people. When I travel, because I posted up a few pictures of us, Mike, on social media, all these guys who own jiu-jitsu schools reached out to me and said, dude, just bring your rash guard with you. Bring your rash guard with you and we'll roll. And so every city I go to, I get to roll with people and meet friends, and I've yet to meet anyone who's a jerk or an asshole, because I think whether it's in the ring or on the mats, you get humbled so many times that you're just a super cool cat. And I think it almost filters out the assholes who are going to be dicks and bullies and leaves just good humans around. And with that in mind, say yes to the adventure, number one. Number two, understand that it's all in your hands. Your protection, the protection of your family is in your hands. Whenever possible, talk your way out of it, avoid it if at all possible. Be situationally aware. It takes but a minute to look around and see where the exits are, who the bad guys are, or who the potential bad guys are, and what you would do about it if something was to pop off. There's classes, take classes. There's a jiu-jitsu school or MMA school in your community. Go there, take that free class, and stick to it. You're going to have good days and not so good days. You're going to have days where all you're doing is tapping and feeling like your neck is being choked on left and right. Then you're going to have days where you accidentally fall in a position like I do every now and again where you might get a tap. But beyond all of this, understand that you as a dad, you are the one in charge of how your son turns out, his future. And so if you want to bring him to the Squire program, we would love to have you guys there. It's an amazing rite of passage for him and for you. It's a great experience for you as well. Go to squireprogram.com or just check the link in the description box. Thank you so much. Peace out.